In the silent, endless reaches of the cosmos, something has begun to glow. Not the steady burn of a star, nor the reflected shimmer of sunlight on frozen ice, but something altogether stranger. A light that pulses, not randomly, not chaotically, but with what feels like intention. Astronomers first noticed it while tracking an object catalogued as 3I, Atlas, an interstellar visitor cutting through our solar system on a hyperbolic trajectory. At first, no one gave it much thought. It was supposed to be just another comet, another frozen rock wandering between the stars, slipping through unnoticed like Oumuamua before it. But when the James Webb Space Telescope turned its unmatched gaze upon the object, what it saw changed everything. Because what Webb detected was not the behavior of a comet. Not the scatter of dust or the flash of icy particles catching the sun's rays. What it saw was something far more impossible. A light source that didn't reflect, didn't scatter, didn't behave according to any law of physics we know. A light that shines as though it were engineered. At first, it was dismissed. Just another anomaly. Maybe a calibration glitch in Webb's ultra-sensitive sensors. Maybe stray dust caught in the detectors. Maybe just bad data. But the light persisted. And then, worse, it grew. And now, across observatories and universities worldwide, scientists find themselves unable to explain it. Because the patterns of brightness and decay simply don't match anything natural. And when artificial light becomes the only explanation left standing, the implications are nothing short of terrifying. So what exactly did Webb uncover? And why is the scientific community in a quiet, restrained state of panic? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear may change everything we thought we knew about who, or what, is watching us from the darkness. From the very moment 3I, Atlas was first spotted, astronomers sensed something was off. Yes, it moved like a comet. Yes, its orbit followed the predictable path of an interstellar visitor cutting across the ecliptic. But its brightness, its unbelievable brightness, refused to be explained away. At a distance of over 400 million kilometers from Earth, the object shone with a magnitude of 16.4. Not a blazing fireball by astronomical standards, but far, far too bright for an object of its size. A comet at that distance should be invisible, at best, a faint smudge detectable only with the strongest instruments. And yet, 3I, Atlas glowed with a steady, almost defiant intensity. Astronomers scrambled for explanations. Maybe the comet was larger than expected. Maybe it was shedding a massive halo of dust that reflected sunlight straight toward Earth. Maybe it was simply an outlier, an extreme but natural case. But one by one, these theories collapsed. When the James Webb peered deeper, analyzing the object's light with instruments more sensitive than anything humanity has ever built, it found that the glow was not reflected sunlight at all. It was emitted light. Radiating outward from the object itself, as though the nucleus of 3I, Atlas were producing its own luminosity. That idea alone breaks the rules of nature. Comets don't generate their own visible light. Natural bodies only glow if their stars are heated to thousands of degrees. Yet the brightness profile of 3I, Atlas simply refused to fit any known comet model. In fact, the light curve fell off at a slope of -4, far steeper than anything caused by reflection. It looked less like dust scattering and more like a spotlight in the dark. Spectrographic analysis made it worse. There was no trace of the usual comet gases. No carbon monoxide, no cyanogen, no water vapor, no volatiles of any kind. The chemical fingerprints of a natural comet were absent. That left one radical, unsettling possibility. The object wasn't reflecting light. It was creating it. The energy required was staggering, roughly 10 gigawatts. That's the output of 10 large nuclear power plants combined, all from an object no wider than a small asteroid. An absurd figure, unless the object wasn't natural at all. Some scientists floated exotic explanations. Perhaps it was a fragment of a supernova core, still glowing with residual radioactive heat. But even that couldn't match the observed intensity or the strange spectral signature, which left a growing faction of researchers confronting the possibility they had long avoided: artificial origin. Enter Avi Loeb, the Harvard astrophysicist who once suggested that Oumuamua, the first known interstellar object, might be an alien probe. He was ridiculed at the time, but he never backed down. Now, with 3I, Atlas, Loeb is back, this time teaming up with physicist Eric Quito. Together they analyzed the light curve and published a model that fit the data better than any natural explanation. Their conclusion: a central energy source, artificial in nature, illuminating the dust around it. In their calculations, even a light source just 100 meters wide, heated to around 1000 Kelvin, could account for everything Webb was seeing. A small, compact, powerfully radiant emitter, suspiciously similar in size to some of humanity's own spacecraft. Which forces a terrifying question: what is this thing? A beacon? A power core? A propulsion system? Or something we have no framework for at all? Because if 3I, Atlas is not natural, then we are no longer alone in interstellar space. We are being visited. And the strangeness doesn't end with the light. 3I, Atlas is not behaving like a random wanderer. Its trajectory through the solar system is unnervingly precise. It is traveling along the plane of the ecliptic, the same plane on which Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and most of the planets orbit. Not above, not below, but precisely aligned. Worse, its flyby brings it within striking distance of multiple planets. Not randomly. Not barely. But within ranges that, in theory, would allow even primitive weapons to be launched from it. Some scientists quietly noted that during its closest approach, Earth will be on the opposite side of the Sun, effectively blind to direct observation. Almost as if the object's passage had been planned to evade detection at the most critical moment. Coincidence? Or intention? Some theorists went further. They suggested that the surrounding dust cloud might not be natural at all, that it could be a swarm of microscopic machines, nanotechnology harvesting interstellar matter for fuel. If that sounds outlandish, consider this. Astronomers have seen dust rings around stars vanish overnight, with no explanation. What if this is the same phenomenon? What if 3I, Atlas isn't shedding dust, but collecting it? Weeks after Webb first spotted the anomaly, its instruments shifted focus to non-visible spectrums. Infrared. Microwave. And finally, the radio band. That's where things became even darker. Hidden beneath the artificial glow was a signal. Weak. Almost buried in cosmic noise. But consistent. It pulsed rhythmically every 7.2 hours. Not random, not interference. And here's the chilling part. The signal's frequency range fell precisely within a narrow band reserved on Earth for military and secure communications. The odds of that overlap being random? Astronomically small. This raised an even more disturbing theory. What if the light isn't just propulsion or energy? What if it's communication? A language of photons, encoded in pulses and shifts. And worse, what if it's not a message to us, but a message through us, piggybacking on Earth's own communication systems, embedding itself in our transmissions without us noticing? That is a tactic used in espionage. Hide your signal within another system so no one detects it until it's too late. What if 3I, Atlas is doing exactly that? What if the glow we're watching isn't light at all, but code? And then things became even more unsettling. An independent team led by astrophysicist Laura Gen at the University of Tokyo discovered that 3I Atlas's fluctuations weren't just random noise. They were pulsing in binary. Light, dark, dark. Always consistent. Always repeating.